Be deported from Misenyi after engaging in criminal activities. And in sports, Mbwana Samatta will have another opportunity to promote his and the country's name when Genk welcomes Red Bull Salzburg in the UEFA Champions League. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. First, the national news. President Dr. John Magufuli has banned directors of district councils in the country from taking loans from financial institutions, including banks, as they do not have the mandate to pay bank interest by using taxpayers' money. President Magufuli gave the directive when greeting residents of Ushirombo in Bukombe District Geita region when traveling from Dodoma to Chato District Geita region.
Wakurugenzi wote Tanzania nzima, sitaki nione halmashauri yoyote Tanzania itakayokwenda kukopa pesa kwenye mabenki kwa ajili ya mradi wowote katika wilaya zao.
I do not want any council in this country taking loans in banks for any project in their districts. It is an official warning from now onwards. It is so sad that I passed somewhere and found people taking loans from Tanzania Investment Bank, TIB, and use it in projects where the actual collection of revenues are minimal and the interests of paying the debts are high. Thus, I'm calling on managers to stop such habits. It's total theft to these people. All who took the loans should immediately terminate the contracts, and if they did not use the money, they should be returned immediately. Revenues that are collected in respective districts should be channeled to development projects only. If they will not be enough, no one is allowed to take a loan anywhere. The only person in charge with loans is the Ministry of Finance. From today, whoever will go contrary to this directive, they should be prepared to step down in office.
The Defense and Security Committee in Misenyi District, Kagera region has said a Rwandan national identified as Patrick Sebutekela will be deported after entering the country and engaging in criminal activities such as poaching and forcing livestock from neighboring Rwanda to enter and graze on Block 12 of the National Ranch Company.
Ana historia ya uhalifu.
He has criminal records since he got involved with this ranch in 2018. There has been incidences of breach of peace, including animal poaching and smuggling of elephant tusks to Uganda. Not only that, since he came here, he has been raiding cattle from Rwanda and Uganda.
Na tumegundua kwamba
again, we have realized that he is not Tanzanian. To us, he is an illegal immigrant, as well as working and owning cattle illegally.
Secretary General of Chama cha Mapinduzi CCM, Dr. Bashiru Ali, has said that anyone who has insulted the chairman of the party, even if he has forgiven them, will still have to face legal charges against them. Dr. Bashiru made the statement in Zanzibar during an interview on Konani program, streamed live on ITV's social media platform. Some residents of Zanzibar have commended the Konani program, saying it gives them important news via their mobile phones.
Lakini kama yanahusu kumtukana mwenyekiti wa chama, lazima wajibu.
If it involves provoking party's chairman, members of the party can't keep quiet, and forgiveness lies in the hands of Dr. John Magufuli as the president, party's chairman, a parent and citizen. And if those who did it are party members, then they are to face the consequences of their actions within the party. This is a good system because through online we are able to watch such brilliant programs anywhere. Otherwise, we could have been forced to run home so that we could watch such shows. Like today, I watched the show of Dr. Bashiru Ali speaking about political parties. I watched the whole show live on my mobile phone.
The 2018 Legal and Human Rights Center report shows that 394 children are raped every month in various parts of Tanzania, with incidents of sodomy increasing from 12 in 2017 to 553 during June 2018.
We believe that men and women are equal in skills, equipment, and capital. Thus, they will all participate in building middle economy that will be accelerated by industrial economy. When we talk about gender violence, we mean actions or verbal expressions that leads to someone being hurt physically, emotionally, sexually, or economically.
The European Union has given €10 to support member countries of the East African Community strengthen peace and security in the region. The support agreement was signed in Arusha between the Secretary General of the East African Community, Ambassador Liberate Mfumukeko, and the EU Ambassador at the Community, Manfredo Faniti.
Inside this program, we have already started a program for trade and agriculture, trade of cash crops, export crops, and that program has already started in all the EAC partner states. It is really a very good project for improving the value chain for this, for coffee, for tea, for spices, and it will enable people who trade in these crops to actually come out with better products and eventually sell them at a higher price.
This is a long-standing partnership and cooperation. Today we have been signing a financing agreement for a new program which is about addressing together threats which are at the regional borders and against the possibility of fight against organized crime or counter-terrorism.
Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa has said all houses constructed by public institutions at Kigamboni District, Dar es Salaam region have to be completed as soon as possible so that they can be sold or rented to tenants. Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa gave the directive during a tour of NSSF, NHC and Watumishi housing projects in Kigamboni District.
It is important that consultants should complete the task early so that you can all get the chance for reviews and find out its potential to the government. If you will not be impressed, then you can get rid of the consultant by following set procedures in order for these projects to be completed on time. As we are winding up this tour, all buildings constructed by our institutions will be inspected, and all houses that are incomplete, we believe that the contractor will be done by March next year, since the projects in Tuangoma and Kijichi are completed by 83%.
The Deputy Minister of Health, Community Development, the Elderly, Gender and Children, Dr. Faustin Dungulile, has directed oral and dental specialists to conduct research on new treatments for dental problems. He also called on Tanzanians to have regular oral and dental checkups. He made the call when opening the Tanzania Dental Association General Meeting in Arusha.
Siwaoni wataalamu wa afya kinywa na meno.
I do not see dentists going out and providing education to the public on how to protect themselves and avoid getting those diseases. You have said that diseases that occur frequently are dental caries and periodontal diseases. Okay, but I've seen no one on TV, newspapers or social media providing education on what to do about this. A big challenge is when people get to the referral hospitals late with the swelling very advanced. We have faith that if dentists are increased in the regions and districts, it will help the cancer be discovered at early stages and referrals be made on time. Apart from the efforts made by the government, we ask that dentists be employed and distributed throughout the country.
And that is the end of national news. International news follows up next. And in international news, President Uhuru Kenyatta and opposition ODM leader Raila Odinga have launched the Building Bridges Initiative BBI report, which aims to usher a national discussion on the future of Kenya at the Bomas of Kenya Auditorium in Nairobi. Also present to witness the occasion was the Foreign Minister of Tanzania, Professor Palamagamba Kabudi.
Na wote pamoja tuseme Kenya ni moja. Wakenya ni wamoja. kwa maendeleo ya Kenya na maendeleo ya Afrika Mashariki. Ukabila kwetu mwiko, tutaheshimiana, tutastahiana, tutavumiliana, tutakwenda pamoja kama wa Kenya na wana Afrika Mashariki.
Hiyo pesa itumike kwa mambo ya maendeleo, not for consumption. Recurrent expenditure should not be above 30%. 70% should go for development.
Let us now be mature. And I appeal especially to the political class. Don't divide these people, they don't deserve it. We are here talking about masilahi yao. We are here talking about their peace. And once we assure them and we give them an enabling environment, these 47 million people are mature enough to elect the leaders that they want. Ours is to enable them to do so and to respect their wishes. This is not a time, this one versus that one. There will come that time.
Now, President Yoweri Museveni has called on countries which have made progress in economic development, such as China and India, to open up markets for African countries. President Museveni made the statement during the China-Africa conference in Kampala City.
All these products need market, because if you produce and nobody buys, then the business will not continue. As I speak today, there's a lot of milk. The internal market is not enough, because one of the problems of Africa, which you should know, is the fragmentation of the market. Africa is a huge continent with a population which is growing of 1.3 billion. It will be 2.5 billion in the next few years. But the problem has been that the market is fragmented. But as I speak today, there's a lot of production of maize, of sugar, of milk, many products. Sometimes the price goes down because of limited market. But this will be solved if we sold more abroad or diversified.
The Central Bank of Burundi has issued new financial regulations for foreigners entering the country who are now required to have payments on any purchase by using the national currency. The bank also says foreigners who wish to travel out of the country with goods manufactured in Burundi will be required to submit to customs documents of currency exchange for the purchased goods.
To transport goods from Burundi, guests will be required to show the Customs Division the documents provided by the relevant office to change foreign funds that is recognized with a stamp from the office before the goods are permitted to be exported. They must show that they use Burundi currency to purchase the goods they are living with.
Now, incidents of killings in Rwanda have continued to increase, causing many residents in Kigali to live in fear. Since the police force announced that it was investigating cause of such incidents, there have not been any report on the outcome of the investigations.
The youth had gone for work training. When he came back, he went inside and went to sleep, and in the morning we found that he had died. Personally, I do not understand why the girl died, because she did not have any problems with people for them to do something bad to her. She was a people person. But if you look at the condition of her body, it is clear that she was strangled.
Now, in tonight's special report, Capital Television's Vanessa Victor and Emmanuel Chase, our Deutsche Welle correspondent, discuss a protest held by the thousands of farmers in Berlin against a new proposed agriculture policies.
Thousands of farmers gathered yesterday in Berlin to show their disapproval of proposed new agricultural policies. DW's political correspondent Emmanuel Chase attended the protest yesterday and joins us now with more. So, Emmanuel, why are German farmers protesting now?
Well, German farmers have been protesting for over a month now, but yesterday's protest was by far the biggest. You could see 5,000 tractors blocking off the road here in the German capital, and more than 10,000 farmers gathered here because they are unhappy about the new environmental and agricultural policy packages proposed by the government. They feel they haven't been heard, and they wanted to be heard. They wanted to draw attention to them yesterday, and they came to voice just that discontent that the discussions around those new policy packages hasn't included them so far.
And we can tell that this was intended to send a message to the government. Is the government listening?
Well, yesterday, two ministers came and addressed the crowd. First, the Environment Minister, Svenja Schulze, came and she got quite the frosty reception, but her speech was actually not very conciliatory. She was telling the farmers that they had to get on with the new environmental policies, that they will have to give up pesticides and fertilizers, and she didn't really show an understanding, and she didn't really talk about an alternative to the use of those products. So the farmers booed her off the stage. Meanwhile, Agriculture Minister Julia Klöckner showed a much more conciliatory side by saying she understood the frustrations on the farmers' side, and she assured them that no matter which measure would be implemented, they will all one by one be discussed with the farmers. And Angela Merkel, while she urged the farmers to accept that times were changing, Angela Merkel will hear them out on December the 2nd. She will receive 40 representatives of the farmers sector in Berlin in the Chancellery.
Let's take a little bit of a slight turn. Modern farming, for example, the use of pesticides is often in conflict with environmental concerns. Do the farmers have proposals to address this?
They don't have proposals per se, but they also do not want to be seen as the villains in the story. They would accept to do more, to have a much more environmentally friendly sector, but they want the insurance that they're not going to lose out. For example, they want to know what would happen to their sector should they stop using pesticides, should they stop using fertilizers. One of the biggest fears they have is that if the agricultural sector here in Germany collapses, then importations will raise, and they would lose their businesses. So they want insurances, they want subsidiaries, they want more subventions should they have to stop from one day to the next to use those fertilizers that for the moment they deem essential to the agricultural sector here.
And how much support do the farmers have?
Well, there's a pretty broad understanding that they're struggling at the moment, but Agriculture Minister Julia Klöckner also said yesterday that the consumers had also to play their part. If they wanted to support the farmers, they would have to accept that there's a counterpart to that, and if they want a cleaner agriculture, they would have to advocate regional products and pay the price for it.
Well, thank you very much, Emmanuel. It will be interesting to see how this is all resolved.
And that is the end of international news. Business news follows up next.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
To be rich, I have to be a business person.
It's not an easy road at all.
People need to understand. You must quickly think, how cost effective are you going to be?
Business acts as a way in which it can bridge that gap.
Business Edition will keep you informed on latest developments in the financial sector, extractive industry, tourism, agriculture, energy, construction, and so much more. Meet entrepreneurs who create employment opportunities. Watch Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and in business news tonight. The government has reiterated that by December 31st this year, no public institution will be allowed to make procurements without using the e-payment system. The warning was issued by the Deputy Minister of Finance and Planning, Dr. Ashato Kijaji, during a forum on public procurement in member countries of the East Africa Community.
I'd like to say we will not change the deadline set by the Minister of Finance, which is the 31st of December. Any institution that will not have begun to use the system will be stopped from making purchases. There will be no pardon. The government cannot incur high costs to purchase the system, provide training, and have some organizations not participate. A total of 1,490 experts from various procuring entities have received training on the system. Along with the training, a total of 426 institutions, 78.8% of all entities in the country, have already been connected to the system.
Hii ikiwa ni sawa na 78.8% ya taasisi zote zilizopo nchini.
And foreign investors have been assured that Tanzania will continue to maintain its peace and stability by addressing challenges which are threats to stability. The assurance was given in Dar es Salaam by the Deputy Minister of Home Affairs, Engineer Ahmad Masauni, at an Investment for Sustainable Development meeting.
So it's not unique to only Africa. So the call right now, and why we are having these meetings, is to make sure that we get on track back on climate change, whether it is on poverty, whether it is on gender, and the more collaborative meetings we have between government and private sector is where we are going to actually get the achievements. So there's also what you call the voluntary national reporting. Kenya reported last year, Tanzania is going to report this year, and in that reporting we are also requesting all private sector to come and say what are they doing. But of course, before you say what you're doing, you also have to understand what the goals are and how you can contribute. So today they were launching a platform where Tanzanian companies will put in the case studies, because from New York we have a lot of case studies of what companies have been doing. In Kenya we have also a few examples, but it is important to have local examples so that local companies can see how they can contribute to their sustainable development goals.
And that is the end of business news. Sports news follows next after this short break.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's being dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's being dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Joaquinho, he did lose to Lend.
Welcome back, and in sports news, Tanzanian Mbwana Samata will have another opportunity to promote his and the country's name in Europe today as Genk welcomes Red Bull Salzburg in the UEFA Champions League.
Boy Samatta, who faces Salzburg tonight, having only acquired 1 point in the group stage. Genk were hammered 6-2 in the first game, with Samatta scoring one of the consolation goals, going on to score in the game against Liverpool at Anfield. There has been rumours that EPL sides West Ham and Newcastle United have shown interest at the striker, who received backlash for his performance against Libya in the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers a few weeks ago, and his performance today may determine where he goes next.
The national boxing team is scheduled to travel to Arusha for their camp as they prepare for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics qualifiers, which will take place in Dakar, Senegal. However, the team is facing the challenge of proper facilities in training camp.
We still have challenges. As you know, the issue of funds for the team to travel to the competition, as well as facilities. We have a few tools, but we need gloves, we need punching bags, we need headgears, and a lot of other tools. But despite all these challenges, the team is proceeding well for training for the Dakar Senegal competition.
Unai Emery is living on borrowed time at Arsenal, with club staff now waiting to be told the under-fire coach has been dismissed. Hear more details.
Increasing on the Spaniard, whose side have gone 5 games without a win in the Premier League and have fallen 8 points adrift of the top 4. There were chants of "We want Emery out" from Arsenal supporters during Saturday's home game with Southampton, while loud boos greeting the final whistle despite Alexandre Lacazette rescuing a 2-all draw with a stoppage time equaliser. Head of football Raul Sanllehi and technical director Edu spoke with Emery immediately after the draw, but is still expected to be in charge for Thursday night's Europa League tie with Eintracht Frankfurt at the Emirates Stadium. That has frustrated many fans who are calling for the 48-year-old to be dismissed, and has even surprised some members of staff who work for the North London Giants. One source has told Goal that there is a sense behind the scenes at Arsenal that it is now a case of when and not if Emery is sacked.
And Jose Mourinho has revealed why he substituted Eric Didier before halftime in Tottenham's eventual 4-2 home win over Olympiacos in the Champions League. Here's more on the story.
Dier was replaced by Christian Eriksen just 29 minutes into Tuesday's Group B fixture, with Tottenham trailing 2-0 after Yusuf El Rabi and Ruben Semedo had stunned the home side in London. The early change ultimately paid off as last season's runners-up stormed back to pick up the 3 points required to reach the Champions League round of 16. But head coach Mourinho, taking charge of his second game since replacing Mauricio Pochettino last week, was quick to publicly apologize to Dier for sacrificing him inside the opening half an hour.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin for tonight. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. Thank you for watching and good night.